I was reborn into the body of the daughter of the richest man. But she was a girl who was obsessed with love. Her boyfriend ate and used her things. And he even emotionally manipulated her. And she still wanted to sever ties with her family for this man, leaving behind the life of a wealthy young lady and insisting on experiencing the hardships of the world. Isn't that just plain crazy? Fortunately, haven't till what say. I'm here now. The first thing I do after being reborn is to break up with the so-called love of my life. I died of sudden cardiac arrest after working overtime all night at the company. When I woke up again, I found that I had become the daughter of the richest man. Just a moment ago, I was still worrying about whether the company would give me compensation. Now, all my worries were gone. Since I'm the daughter of the richest man, I can have whatever I want. Right? Even if I want to acquire the company I used to work for, it would be as easy as pie. However, my joy didn't last long. Because after having the memories of this wealthy young lady, I realized that she was a complete love fool. She was even willing to cut off ties with her family just to be with her boyfriend, who came from a poor family. I felt sorry for her misfortune and was angry at her lack of self-awareness. This is like rummaging through a box in the middle of the night. She just doesn't know what's good for her. After carefully recalling the glorious deeds of this wealthy young lady, Celine, I realized that this wasn't just a simple case of being infatuated with love. It was more like a love cancer. Celine. Well, now it's me. I was a high school classmate of Ethan's. After graduation, we went to universities in different cities. Not long ago, it was my birthday. Ethan didn't give me any gifts. Just sent me a message saying, "Happy birthday." Not only was I overjoyed as if I had received a precious treasure, but I also generously transferred 314 yuan to him with a wave of my hand. At first, Ethan didn't accept the money. I thought he was just being shy. But then he asked me to add the words "voluntary gift" to the transfer note. I added those 4 words and transferred the money to him again. This time, he accepted it immediately. Some time ago, Ivan, for some reason, said he wanted to start a business. I supported him without hesitation and gave him 1 million yuan as support. I was even very proud to show off to others that my boyfriend was capable. Not long after, there were problems in his company, and he owed a huge amount of debt. Every time I had a video call with him, I saw him looking worried and sad, and I felt sorry for. I wanted to help him too. But when I gave him that 1 million yuan before, my family found out. Since then, when I fulfilled my obsession, my dad has set a limit on my bank card, and now I don't have much money on me. However, I remembered that when I was admitted to university, my dad bought me a large flat. If I mortgaged it, it could solve Ethan's urgent problem. So, I secretly stole the household registration book from home in the middle of the night. Before I could reach the door, the alarm of the safe went off. I had a huge argument with my family about this. My dad said that if I remained stubborn, he would sever the father-daughter relationship with me. I cried uncontrollably and said angrily, "Fine. Break it off then." Even so, I still couldn't mortgage the house in the end. After that, Ethan wasn't as enthusiastic about me as before. Every time I sent him a message, he wouldn't reply even after 5 or 6 hours had passed. I gradually realized there was a problem. I thought Ethan felt that the long-distance relationship was too hard. So I called him and said, Ethan, do you think the long-distance relationship is tiring?" Ethan didn't say anything. I continued, "Ethan, how about you find a girlfriend near your school? I don't mind, as long as you still stay with me." What kind of love potion did this Ethan did to Celine to make her so devoted to him? Now, the most important thing is that it doesn't matter what kind of person he is. But he can't stand in my way. I have to meet him and get rid of this trouble. I took a flight overnight to Ethan's university. I called him. He answered the phone impatiently with a hello. When I heard his tone, I got really angry. "Come out. I'm at the gate of your school. What are you doing at my school?" Instead of asking if I was tired from the overnight journey, he started with a question. He really knows how to be charming. "Cut the crap. Come out quickly. You have 10 minutes. Perhaps sensing that I was different from before, I found Hamed and hung up the phone. The autumn morning was still a bit cold. I should have worn something thicker. After waiting for almost 10 minutes, I finally saw a tall and thin person walking out. He stood in front of me, looking extremely impatient. "What do you want from me?" Apart from being tall, Ethan is just someone with a relatively good-looking face. I really don't know what Celine saw in him to have sacrificed so much for him. I tucked the hair that was blown by the wind behind my ear and said calmly, "Nothing much. I'm just here to tell you that it's over between us. Let's break up. And you'd better return the 1 million yuan I gave you to start your business as soon as possible. I've sent you the bank card number on your phone. Transfer the money to that card when the time comes." Ethan, who showed no change in his expression when I said we were breaking up, finally showed a bit of unease on his face when I asked him to return the money. I turned around to leave. But Ethan stopped me. "Celine, you were the one who gave me that 1 million yuan willingly. I didn't beg you for it. Even if we break up, I'm not going to return that money." I looked at the angry Ethan in front of me. "Well, then I'll call the police." Seeing that I wasn't joking, he started trying to move me with emotions. "Celine, why have you suddenly changed? Weren't we fine before? You said we would get married after graduation. Were you lying to me? Or is it that your family doesn't approve of us being together? But we're in true love. True love can't be hindered by the mundane world. Celine, you can't give up so easily." This guy talks like a newly fired clay pro. It has a whole set of words. How many books on PUA has he read? I shook off his hand that was holding me. "I just think our relationship is kind of boring. If you want to part ways amicably, I can give you a few more days. But if you keep pestering me, we'll see each other in court." Seeing that I had no intention of changing my mind, he had a pained expression on his face. "Celine, all my feelings for you in the past few years were wasted. TSK. Isn't this the pot calling the kettle black? So what? Do you think I care?" A phone. "Ifen. Why are you here?" A sweet voice came from behind me. I turned around and saw. It was a pretty and innocent-looking girl. But she probably has a thirsty figure. At this moment, she was affectionately hooking her arm around Ethan's. When she saw me looking over, Ethan looked embarrassed and tried to pull his arm away. But the girl, who looked delicate, was actually quite strong. Ethan couldn't pull his arm out. "Who is this person?" As if she had just seen me, the girl asked Ethan. Ethan stammered and couldn't answer. I understood immediately. He really found a girlfriend at his school. The girl looked at me up and down with a defensive look, as if she was afraid that I would steal Ethan away from her. However, I wonder if she knows that she's the mistress in this situation? She was carrying an LV bag on her arm, and it looked familiar to me. Memories from Celine's past came to my mind. When I went on a date with Ethan before, I carried this exact bag. I remember that Ethan looked unhappy when he saw it and said it was too flashy. I felt wronged, but this was already the cheapest and most unremarkable bag in my closet. Ethan immediately took my bag and went to a small store on the street and bought a canvas bag for 19.9 yuan. He said that this was more in line with our status as students. And I, for some reason, took the canvas bag and even told Ethan, "You really think things through." After walking around for a while, I forgot about that LV bag. Who would have felt that Ethan took my bag to please another woman? Seeing that I was staring at her bag, the girl shouted at me angrily, "What are you looking at?" I wasn't angry. Instead, I smiled and said, "Nice bag." The girl raised her chin proudly. "Of course it is. My dear boyfriend bought it for me." Then I saw Ethan freeze in his tracks. He quickly tried to explain to me. "Celine, let me explain to you." I raised my hand to interrupt him. "You'd better spend this time thinking about how to return that 1 million yuan. I didn't want to entangle with him any longer. So I turned around and left. Then I heard the girl's questioning voice coming from behind me. I walked across the street from the school and got into an SUV. "Get out." A cold male voice came from beside me. "Come on. I showed you a great show. As payment for the ticket, you can at least drive me to the airport." Although the guy was very reluctant, he still started the car. Jason, Celine's childhood friend. The two of them had been bickering and playing around since they were kids. But they had never been really angry with each other. Until Celine got together with Ethan. Jason and Ethan were in the same school. Every time Celine came to see Ethan, she would run into Jason. And every time Jason saw her, he would scold her for being infatuated with love. But he couldn't wake her up. Celine, on the other hand, mocked him for being a single dog who wasn't loved and being jealous of her relationship with Ethan. After that, the two of them fell out. There was a long silence. Do you really plan to break up? I closed my eyes to rest. No. It's not a plan. I've already broken up with him. Jason. He laughed. I turned my head to look at him. What are you laughing at? I'm laughing that you've finally come to your senses. Faft. I closed my eyes again. Wake me up when we get there. I don't know how much time had passed, but I slowly woke up, and I found that the car was parked in front of a villa. I was just about to turn my head and ask Jason what was going on, when I saw him leaning against the front of the car, smoking. Perhaps he noticed my gaze, and he looked towards the car. He turned around and walked to the window on my side. I rolled down the window and asked him, I thought we were going to the airport. Why are we here? Where is this? This is my house. As he spoke, he opened the car door. Get out. I held onto the seat belt tightly. What are you going to do? What do you think I'm going to do? Am I going to eat you? You never know. After all, I'm so beautiful and charming. Jason sneered. Don't worry. You're quite safe in terms of looks. This is just a roundabout way of calling me ugly. It was your dad who called me and asked me to take good care of you. Hurry up and get out of the car. I took out my phone and checked. Sure enough, there were several missed calls from my dad. I didn't hear them because my phone was on mute. Besides my dad, Ethan had also called me a lot and sent me messages like crazy on WeChat. Just seeing his name made me feel disgusted, so I simply turned off my phone. I followed Jason to his family's villa. I called my dad first. As soon as the call connected, I heard my dad's strong voice. So you still remember to call your old man? This was my genuine wealthy father. I first asked my richest dad whether he had eaten or not in a flattering way. Then I made clear my purpose of coming here. Dad. Don't worry. I'm not the same person I used to be. I'm here today to break up with Ethan. From now on, all that love and affection are just floating clouds. My dad seemed unable to adapt to my transformation. After all, the night before, I had even jumped out of the window to see Ethan. It was also because Celine had broken her head by jumping out of the window that I had come here. Really? His tone was full of doubt. Of course it's true. If I'm lying to you, let me be hit and killed by a car when I go out. What are you saying about death? Girl? Spit. 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 I didn't expect my dad to be so superstitious. Well, I might as well just do it to make the old man happy. After doing as he said, he was satisfied. Then he warned Jason to treat me better. Jason smiled and said, I got it. Celine's dad. After taking a short rest, Jason asked me what my plans were next. Since I was already here, I decided to deal with the matter of Ethan before leaving. I thought for a moment and smiled cunningly. Jason, do me a favor. Will you? After telling Jason my plan, he looked at me suspiciously. Celine, are you possessed? What do you mean? I just think this kind of plan is not something your brain could come up with. I raised my hand and gave him a punch. Stop talking nonsense. Just tell me if you'll help or not. Jason covered his chest. I will. I will. I will. Ethan was still persistently calling and messaging me. It was really annoying. So I picked up his call. Have you got the 1 million you want together? Ethan's voice seemed very painful. Celine, for the sake of our relationship over the years, can you give me one more chance? I sighed. Ethan, do you think there's still a chance to save our relationship? Celine, I can explain all of this. Really? I don't need your explanation. Ethan fell silent. Do you have anything else to say? If not, I'll hang up. Don't. Even if you're determined to break up, I hope I can see you one more time. Please. Judging from his tone, Ethan was almost about to cry. Alas. Alright. Ethan was obviously much happier. Great? Great. At 3 p.m. tomorrow. At the coffee shop in front of our school. I'll be waiting for you. I hummed and hung up the phone. Are you really going tomorrow? Jason asked me while wiping his wet hair. He had obviously just taken a shower. I nodded casually, sure. Let's see what else he can come up with. Then I reminded him again, don't forget our plan. Got it. The next afternoon, I arrived at the milk tea shop at the appointed time. From a distance, I saw Ethan sitting at the seat by the window. This was the seat that Celine used to like the most when she dated him. When Ethan saw me come in, he immediately stood up, pulled out a chair for me, and placed a cup of coconut latte in front of me. Celine, this is your favorite coffee. As if remembering something, he quickly added, it's hot. Ethan was so considerate at the moment. It was this superficial pretense that had deceived the innocent Celine. However, the coconut latte was Celine's favorite coffee. But not mine. Because of frequent overtime work, I need at least 2 Americanos every day. At first, I couldn't get used to such a bitter coffee, but over time, I fell in love with it. Speak. He looked at the coffee in front of me. Celine, aren't you going to drink it? It's quite cold today. Have a sip of the hot coffee to warm up after coming in from outside. He was really long-winded. I picked up the coffee in front of me and took a sip. It was so sweet. Sickeningly sweet. All right. I said impatiently. Seeing that I had drunk the coffee, Ethan smiled brightly. He took out that LV bag from the side. He said, Celine, it was all my fault before. I brought the bag back for you. Now it's returned to its rightful owner. Although this bag had already been carried by someone else, and I would definitely not use it again in the future, I could still make a lot of money by selling it second-hand. Seeing that I had taken the bag, Ethan seemed to heave a sigh of relief. Celine, I know that whatever I say now won't make any difference. I just hope that for the sake of our relationship, regarding that 1 million yuan, I know your money didn't come easily. I just hope you can let me pay back less. I haven't graduated yet and I don't have a job. I really can't afford to pay it back. You know my family situation. Ethan? You took advantage of my love. Ate my food. Used my things. Spent my money. And even used my money to support other women. You really thought I wouldn't lead you, didn't you? What's the use of repenting now? Haven't you heard the saying? Late affection is cheaper than grass. You did something that betrayed me, and you still dare to expect my forgiveness? I admit that I made a lot of mistakes in this relationship. But, Celine, aren't you at fault either? His eyes were red, just like a cornered rabbit. Do you know how much pressure I had when I was with you? Others envied me for having a rich girlfriend and said that being with you could save me 20 years of hard work. In fact, they secretly called me a man who lives off a woman. Do you know how painful it was for me every time I heard these words? I know I'm not good enough for you. So I wanted to achieve something to show your family and everyone around me that you, Celine, didn't choose the wrong person. But, I'm really tired. Every time I saw you, I felt a lot of pressure. I became inferior in front of you. At this time, Tina appeared. She admired me and encouraged me. I felt very relaxed when I was with her. So, I couldn't help but make a mistake. Me, having fulfilled my obsession. So, was it my fault for being born into a wealthy family? Come on. Being born into a good family is also a kind of ability. Okay? I understand what you're saying. But this doesn't change the fact that you have bad personal morals. Before I could finish my sentence, I felt dizzy. Vaguely, I saw Ethan across from me showing a triumphant smile. Ethan. You. And then I lost consciousness. I felt my body being moved. I tried to open my eyes but didn't have the strength. Then I heard several men talking. Who goes first? Ethan should go first. After all, she's his girlfriend. It doesn't matter who goes first. How about we go together? A lewd voice said. Then I heard Ethan say, be gentle. She's still a virgin. Seriously, bro? You've been together for so long and you still haven't slept with her. Are you not capable? Several men laughed. I seemed to understand what they were talking about. I cursed in my heart, these beasts are really disgusting. And Jason, why haven't you come yet? Then I felt someone tearing at my clothes. Just then, the door of the hotel room was kicked open. Don't move. Police. At this moment, I finally let out a sigh of relief. Jason. You finally came. Celine. Celine. Wake up. Are you okay? I said feebly, I'm okay. Seeing that I was really okay, Jason turned around and punched Ethan, knocking him to the ground. Fortunately, having fought my inside, the policeman next to them stopped him. Otherwise, I felt that Jason would have beaten Ethan to death. The police took Ethan and his 3 roommates away, and I was taken to the hospital by Jason for gastric clavage. Fortunately, having fulfilled me, I didn't ingest much of the drug, so it didn't cause any harm to my body. After waking up, I told Jason not to tell my parents, so as not to worry them. But Jason said, Uncle has such wide connections. He already knows about it and is on his way here now. Well, I'm going to be scolded again. You knew he put drugs in the drink. Why did you still drink it? It was to make it more realistic. Besides, I didn't drink much. I just took a small sip. I just didn't expect the drug to be so strong. Jason sighed, You. Don't do anything so risky that endangers yourself in the future. You don't understand. As the old saying goes, you can't catch a wolf without getting up a child. Well, we've sent him to jail. Haven't we? Before going to the appointment, I knew that Ethan must be up to no good. A scumbag like him would do anything for his own interests. Jason and I arrived at the appointment place in advance and deliberately observed it secretly. As a result, we saw Ethan arrive at the store early. He furtively took out a small package from his pocket and poured the contents into the coconut latte he had ordered in advance. After seeing this scene, I knew what Ethan was up to. I knew it was impossible for Ethan to pay back the money. He didn't have the ability to do so. But I couldn't let that 1 million yuan go to waste either. I originally planned to set a trap for him to fall into. But he dug the pit for himself. So before entering the store, I told Jason to call the police if something went wrong. When I was taken to the small hotel next door by Ethan, Jason called the police. I originally thought that Ethan might just want to take a few photos to threaten me. I didn't expect him to be so bold that he actually wanted to. Just thinking about that filthy thing gives me goosebumps all over. If I hadn't arrived in time. Hearing him say this, I was indeed a bit scared. What if Jason had come late? But, I trust you. Jason was taken aback. Why? I said in a relaxed tone, we grew up together since we were kids. Of course I trust you. Just then, let out a low sigh. The door of the ward opened. It was my dad and my mom. When my mom saw me lying in the hospital bed, tears welled up in her eyes immediately. My dear daughter. How are you? She said as she was about to lift the quilt off me. I quickly covered myself and said, Mom, I'm perfectly fine and full of energy. There's nothing wrong with me at all. Don't worry. Seeing that I was indeed okay, she pulled me into her arms and said, You scared your mom to death. So this is what it feels like to be held and loved by a mother. My earliest memory was in an orphanage. I was unfamiliar with the word mom. And I had no idea what so-called maternal love was like. When I grew up, I understood it. But I no longer needed it. Sigh. I thought of my original self again. I wonder if anyone will help arrange the aftermath. I patted my mom on the back and said, Mom, stop crying. If you cry any more, you won't be beautiful. My mom then wiped her tears and stopped. She is a woman with a childlike heart, and she hasn't changed a bit even after getting married. This is of course thanks to Mr. Charles Chen's doting on her. Mom and Dad, I'm sorry for making you worry. My dad snorted and said, As long as you know, your mom and I don't want to see the day when we, the white-haired, send off the black-haired. Hearing what he said, my heart ached. They didn't know that the real Celine was already dead. I sniffled and said coquettously, How could that be? I want to stick with you and Mom for the rest of my life. The atmosphere in the ward finally relaxed a bit. After staying in the hospital for 2 days and finding that there were no major problems, I was discharged. During that time, The police came to take my statement and understand the cause of the incident. I told them the truth. But I omitted the little scheme between Jason and me. According to the police, Ethan and his 3 roommates bought the day trade drug from a small website. They planned to assault me when I passed out and take videos to threaten me. If I only thought Ethan was a scumbag before. Now he is a complete beast. No, saying he is a beast is an insult to beasts. The police said they had already criminal detention them. And they would need my cooperation later. Okay. Uncle Policeman. I will definitely cooperate actively. Since Ethan and the others were caught on the spot. The police also found the remaining drugs in their dormitory. The evidence was conclusive. They could be sentenced directly. Ethan's 3 roommates were sentenced to 3 years in prison as they were not the principal offenders. As the principal offender, Ethan was sentenced to 5 years in prison. As for the 1 million yuan he owed, because Ethan was unable to repay it, he was finally sentenced to 3 years in prison. Adding the 2 charges together, he was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Now that the matter of Ethan has been dealt with, I can finally enjoy the life of the daughter of the richest man. When I returned to the school dormitory, my roommates were all observing me carefully. Then I remembered that when Celine first entered the school, her father strongly requested that Celine live in the dormitory and not have any special treatment. He said that she should get along well with her classmates because they would be her connections in the future. Celine's father is a businessman, so he naturally thinks more than others. But Celine was different. At that time, she was full of thoughts about Ethan and just took her father's words as unheeded advice. She would take a plane to see Ethan whenever she had time. While my roommates sneered at Celine, they were also jealous of her family background. The skincare products and cosmetics that Celine usually left in the dormitory were secretly used by her 3 roommates. Celine was a carefree person who didn't care about these things. Even if she found out, she didn't take it seriously. But now it's different. Anyone who touches my things will pay the price. As soon as I entered the dormitory, the 3 of them sat obediently in their seats and didn't dare to move. It seems they must have heard the news that I sent my freeloading boyfriend to prison. Are they worried that they will end up like Ethan? I looked at the neatly arranged but very dirty cosmetics on the table. Sure enough, people don't know how to cherish things that aren't theirs. And I looked at my roommates who were trembling with fear. Forget it. I'm in a good mood after dealing with Ethan's matter. So I won't bother with them for now. But if in the future... Oh, there won't be a future. I'm going to move into my large flat soon. Hello. Uncle Xiao. Let them come up. My roommate Em and Ollie thought I had brought people to deal with them and was so anxious that she almost cried. Celine. We will never secretly use your cosmetics again. Please spare us. The other 2 also quickly apologized. I just thought it was funny looking at them like this. I raised my hand to interrupt them and said, if you want me to let this go, each of you write an apology letter to me and post it on your WeChat moments. Once you get 200 likes, this matter will be settled. How about it? The 3 of them looked at each other, and their faces showed expressions of embarrassment. These cosmetics were all custom made from abroad. They can be said to be unique in the world. As for the price, as soon as they heard this, the 3 of them quickly said, I'll post it. I'll post it. I'll post it. I smiled with satisfaction. Oh, and don't set different groups. I will check it later. Probably making them experience social death is more painful than asking them for money. The reason for returning to the dormitory this time was not only to give them a warning but also to move out of the dormitory and back to the large flat. My dad asked the driver, Uncle Xiao, having fulfilled Wyatt so, to arrange a few people to help me move my luggage. It was all packed up in half an hour. That night, I went home for dinner. My mom asked the auntie to cook a lot of my favorite dishes. Come to think of it, this was the first time I had dinner with my parents since I came here. In the past, because of the matter between Celine and Ethan, the father and daughter would always start arguing after just a few bites of food. And they would end up parting on bad terms. Looking at the harmonious scene at the dinner table now, I picked up a drumstick for my parents respectively. My mom praised me for being sensible. My dad also had a look of relief on his face. Daughter. Seeing you like this now. Your dad can hardly recognize you. I smiled playfully and said, "If Dad can't recognize me, then I'll go be someone else's daughter." My dad frowned and said, "You little rascal. I'm just kidding." I knew he was just pretending to be fierce. Seeing me acting coquettously towards him, my dad's expression softened a lot. "Girl. Because of that Ethan before. You made such a mess at home that no one could control you. You don't know that your mom secretly cried several times because of this. Now seeing your change. Your mom and I are really happy. Mom and Dad. I was ignorant before and made you worry. In the future, I will definitely be a qualified little cotton padded jacket. With your words. Dad is satisfied." He tapped the table lightly. "I'm happy today. So I'll grant you a wish. Tell me. What do you want?" My mom teased. "While your dad is happy, take the opportunity to make him spend a lot of money." I thought for a long time. Now that I'm the daughter of the richest man, I have the best food, clothing, and everything. I really couldn't think of what I wanted at the moment. Suddenly, I remembered the advertisement I saw on my phone not long ago. I said, "I want to go to Disneyland with Mom and Dad." My parents were taken aback when they didn't expect me to make such a request. Then my dad seemed to think of something inside. "In the past, I was too busy with work and neglected to spend time with you and your mom. I didn't expect that my words would make the atmosphere at the dinner table sad. The reason I want to go to Disneyland is that I used to have no money and no parents. Every time I heard others talk about Disneyland, I was extremely envious. Now that I have my parents and the ability to go to Disneyland, I want to fulfill this wish of mine." I comforted him and said, "You were also trying to give Mom and me a better life. I understand all of that." My dad patted me on the shoulder and didn't say anything. After confirming the time and booking the tickets, the atmosphere at home became relaxed again. After dinner, my mom and I were studying the clothes to wear when going to Disneyland on the sofa in the living room. The two of us chose for a long time and finally decided on a princess dress. We bought the best friend style. Although my mom is already in her 40s, she looks like she's in her 20s and has a great figure. If we go out, some people might believe that she's my elder sister. After deciding on the clothes, we chose the nail art together. Well, the happiness of women is just that simple. As we were chatting, the topic turned to Jason. "Did Jason call you again?" As if to confirm what my mom said, my phone rang. And the caller ID showed Jason. My mom looked at me with an "I knew it" expression. I hung up the phone and said, "Mom, you're so nosy." Since the matter of Ethan ended, Jason, let out a low sigh. For some unknown reason, actually confessed his love to me. "I treat you as a good friend, but you actually want to be with me?" Of course. I gave a big no. I just got rid of a scumbag and haven't had time to enjoy my single life properly. How could I possibly suffer the pain of love again? It seems that Jason doesn't understand that I'm rejecting him. He still calls me every day. It's really annoying. Jason is really nice. He's tall and handsome. If I were 20 years younger, I would even want to chase him. Hey, stop right there. If Dad hears you say that, it will cause family conflicts. I'm just saying. Besides, your dad was really handsome back when he was young. A real heartthrob within a 10-mile radius. You have no idea how many girls were after your dad back then. Then could you tell me the love story between you and my dad? Back then, your dad and I." She suddenly realized something. "Don't try to change the subject. We were talking about you and Jason. How did it turn to me and your dad?" "Mom, I've always treated Jason like a sister. I don't have those kinds of feelings for him. Besides, I want to spend more time with you and Dad. Everyone else is just unimportant." After my repeated refusals, my mom stopped bringing it up. Soon, let out a low sigh. The day came when our whole family went to Disneyland. My mom and I wearing princess dresses really looked like sisters. My dad joked, "People who don't know us might think I'm out with my two daughters." My mom spat at him. "You old rascal." Since my dad is the richest man, to avoid any accidents, bodyguards accompanied us throughout the whole trip. Although it attracted a lot of attention, my mom and I just focused on having a good time and left everything else to my dad. After a whole day of walking around, my legs were sore. But we also gained a lot. Looking at all the spoils of our shopping spree on the hotel bed and the sofa, I suddenly felt that I could keep shopping for a few more hours. Because I was so tired during the day, I had a good night's sleep. However, why was Jason in my dream? And he was looking at me with a smile at the corner of his eyes without blinking. It was a bit creepy. So I swung my hand at him, trying to swat him away. But then my palm touched something warm. I was so startled that I woke up. In front of me, Jason was holding his left cheek, hissing in pain. I quickly pulled up the quilt to cover myself. Jason, what are you doing here? I came to wake you up. Didn't anyone tell you that you can't just barge into a girl's room? He looked a bit wronged and said, "It was your mom who told me to come in." I knew it. Get out of here. Seeing that I was really angry, Jason left with the words, "I'll be waiting for you outside," and went out. I ignored Jason for a long time because of this incident. Without the distractions of other things, I devoted myself wholeheartedly to my studies. 2 years later, I joined the family business. Since I didn't want any special treatment, I started from the grassroots level. Although my current life is no different from what it was before I was reborn, just going back and forth between home and the company, I now have more confidence in my work and no longer hesitate when making decisions. It took me less than a year to become the general manager of the company. Even though I'm the daughter of the company's boss, my abilities are obvious to all, so everyone respects me. It was the end of another year. After a whole year of business ends, I finally had a chance to catch my breath. I applied for annual leave and planned to go on a vacation to relax. When Jason's video call came through, I was on the other side of the ocean, sitting in the VIP section watching a male strip show. The men on stage were making all sorts of seductive moves, and there was a lot of cheering from the audience. "Where are you?" I replied casually. "In a place that makes people happy. I'm coming to find you. Come if you can find me." Then I hung up the call. A young and handsome guy beside me happened to bring the cut-up fruit to my mouth. I opened my mouth and took a bite. The juice exploded in my mouth, and it was really sweet. I waited for a while but didn't get the second piece. I frowned and said, "Keep feeding me. Are you enjoying the show?" I was about to answer when I thought, why does this voice sound so familiar? I looked up and saw Jason standing there with a gloomy face. "How did you find me here?" Before I could say anything else, he picked me up and threw me over his shoulder. I struggled to get down. "Jason, there are so many people watching. Give me some face." He slapped my butt. "Be good. Don't blame me if you fall." This was the first time I had been spanked since I grew up. I was so ashamed that I wished I could bury my head in the ground. Jason put me down when we got to a quiet room. "What are you going crazy for? I should be asking you that. Why did you come to a place like this?" I laughed out of anger. "What do you mean by a place like this? Besides, what does it have to do with you that I'm here? Why are you even trying to control me?" Jason looked at me seriously. "You know very well that I like you. So what? I remember clearly that I rejected you. What do I have to do for you to agree to be with me?" I thought it was a bit funny. Before, he used to scold Celine for being love-struck, but now he was just like Celine in the past. "I don't make losing deals. What can I get from being with you?" He didn't hesitate. "Everything I have." Although Jason's family is a bit less wealthy than mine, their company is still one of the top-ranked ones in the country. After thinking about it carefully, it seemed like a deal that I couldn't lose. But I still said, "You know, Evie the new. I don't want another Ethan. I need a partner who is absolutely loyal to me in a relationship. I can promise you that. Then let's give it a try." He was stunned for a moment. Then he reacted and hugged me tightly. "Let go of me. I can't breathe." He then let go of me and explained foolishly, "I'm so happy that I couldn't help it." "Since that's the case, then bark." "What? Aren't you supposed to be absolutely loyal?" He hesitated for a long time. "Forget it if you don't want to." I was just teasing him anyway. But unexpectedly, woof. I smiled and stroked his head. "So good. My doggy lover." The end of the full text.